Hello everybody, this is Cold15 and welcome back to another part of Let's Play Pokemon HeartGold. Last time we basically just talked about the Battle Frontier and really didn't do much last episode. In today's episode, I really don't feel like we're gonna do much gameplay, but more of more of an explanation as to other things that happen in this game that you kind of need something else to do. But today we're gonna try to talk about event Pokemon. That's right, event Pokemon, and I prepared myself to actually talk about these guys. But first thing first, we need to talk about what happens if you try to let's say it was 2011 and events were still a thing or such. What would happen is a green guy would just appear right here instead of the normal red guy we usually find. Instead, he'd be green and be giving us the event item or Pokemon we need to access the event. But that's how the events work in this game. You just have to get them from him. That's where you get them anyway if you add them. Even though I'm playing on emulator, I could get the events on here. I really don't feel like it, just because that's something that was old, and I really feel like playing this game as legit as it is, not by hacking and such. So instead, we're here in Azalea Town in Elix Forest because we got a lot of events to talk about. This will be like I said, more of a commentary video than it will be a playthrough. But oh crud, I need cut. You know what, I'm not even gonna do much, but over to a bit north right here is the Elix Shrine. And this is where most of the event Pokemon, two of the event Pokemon just come here. But let's get started, I guess. So, let's start with the first event Pokemon that possibly my favorite event of this game. It just feels odd to not have a good introduction, but it's just these events were once given to you 2010, 2011, such around that year, and they were things you could get into your game just for bonus content or DLC is what we call it nowadays, I guess. They're given to you from places or Wi-Fi events. You just have to go to places, and then the employees or just the Wi-Fi stuff will just give it to you back then. They were really cool download content, and sadly you can't really get them anymore, because if you do try to get them, well, first off, I find it kind of cheating, but most importantly, let's say the cartridges, they give you, the employees back around 2015, view into a GameStop or such, and then they just scan in a cartridge that just gives you the download event. Those cartridges are on sale on eBay and such, but they're really expensive, and honestly, I just wouldn't recommend it. What if they're not there or such? I don't know, you could get scammed. But let's just talk over the event anyway. I'm dragging on a bit too long. So first Pokemon we're going to talk about, and yes, I'm giving some of these guys bios, is Celebi. I'll go over the GameStop Celebi that was, well, unique to say the least, because I'll get to it. While its typing may not be great, Celebi has quite a lot of things going for it. 100 every stat, so it's basically the Mew of this generation. Good offensive and defensive moves, great move pool, like Stealth Rock, and Natural Cure is a great ability to have. And most importantly, let's say you got the GameStop Celebi, the GameStop Celebi comes with Nasty Plot, something Celebi normally cannot learn. Although, not only is Thunder Wave better on Frontier only, but it learns moves leveling up every 9 levels, so good luck getting, getting moves, but including Heal Wish, Leaf Storm, and Perish Song. Those are some big moves on Celebi you want too. Mystical Pokemon aren't allowed to Battle Frontier, so it's best used in probably multiplayer or such, or just competitive, Turn 4. I don't know. One thing to know about is that back in Crystal, Celebi was supposed to be obtained with the GS Ball event, but was never released back then. And in Pokemon Coliseum, Celebi was a mystery gift obtainable if you pre-ordered Coliseum back then. And it was only Japan exclusive, while in the US we got Jirachi. This event also never got released in the US, so you couldn't legitimately obtain this Pokemon. It took until the release of Crystal in the Virtual Console to legitimately obtain Celebi. So if you wanted one, well, there's your method of getting one. So what could this Celebi have done if you went to the Helix Shrine? So if you brought a Celebi with you, Lyra or Eason would show up, and Celebi would start time traveling 3 years back to Route 22. The route west of, Viridian City. When they arrived to that route, they would see Silver and Giovanni? What's he doing here? Well, during this exact time, Giovanni just defeated or just got defeated by Red and disbanded Team Rocket. Silver gets furious, both start arguing, and they depart, with Giovanni heading to Johto and Silver bumping into you, the player. That conversation reveals that Silver is indeed Giovanni's son, and explains why Silver wanted to defeat Team Rocket in the first place, since he was so mad that his father couldn't, take over the world, that he just wants Team Rocket, he gives revenge Team Rocket for just giving up that easily. Then Celebi takes you to a small room of a certain cave. Anyone remember this room? We went into it before. Well, this is a room we happened to find back behind the waterfall in Tojo Falls. Except now, Giovanni is there with a radio and is answering to Archer and the other admins at the radio tower. This means that right now, at this time when Giovanni is hearing this radio, Team Rocket is taking over the radio tower Goldenrod City. Giovanni would start leaving to see them, then is seen by you, the player, traveling to his point. Then he challenges you to a battle. His team consists of Nidoking, Honchkrow, Nidoqueen, and Kangaskhan, and all the Pokemon are around mid and early level 40s. Once you beat him, he tells you that you remind him of the same trainer that beat him 3 years ago. Then Celebi takes you back to your timeline at Helix Forest. Now, with this event said, all the attempts Team Rocket made of making Giovanni return are completely understandable now that Giovanni was going to return. So all this time they were saying Giovanni, was never going to return, even though we thought he was never gonna. He was indeed planning to, and if we didn't stop him, he would have returned and just went with Archer. That's why I love this event. It explains so much in little time, literally, and makes everything done in the past reasonable. It's such a shame this event is locked behind an event, because this backstory is that incredible to me. So, one more thing I have to say. So, we managed to defeat 2 bad guys at the same time? Which is strange. But yeah, that's the event. It's a really cool event, and I really wish this game style Celebi was, available, but it wasn't, and so you just have to get like a random Celebi to Wi-Fi or such. But good luck getting that. Or not, just play Virtual Console's Crystal. You'll just get yourself a Celebi there. Sorry about that cut. I just forgot that we needed to go over another Pokemon in this exact same place at the Elix Shrine. This time, the different Pokemon is a Pokemon we've gone over before, but we've never gone over it, but we've seen it before. But it's one that, I don't know, Okay, this is a HeartGold Soul Silver exclusive event, but the thing is, you'll need a Pichu for this. And not just an ordinary Pichu, but a shiny Pichu. So, because it's an event Pokemon, I guess we'll go over Pichu then. And yeah, because it's an event that you can get. Simple. It's not that very good of a baby Pokemon. Well, at the very least, this shiny Pichu that you can get through an event, that you could have gotten through an event, came with Charge, Endure, Endeavor, and Volt Tackle. All moves Pichu normally does not get. Oh, and yes, you can evolve this Pichu and the event will still work, but just don't forget to unequip its Everstone if you do choose to evolve it. Once you take your shiny Pichu to the same shrine, a Spiky-Eared Pichu will appear and join your team. It's always female, always level 30, comes with Zap Plate, and comes with Helping Hand, Volt Tackle Swagger, and Paint Slit. Many moves that Pichu family doesn't get, huh? Anyways, you can also take the Spiky-Eared Pichu to Professor Elm and hear a backstory about it. Not gonna say what it is, but it is a cool backstory to say at least. The biggest drawbacks to this Spiky-Eared Pichu is that it can't evolve at all, so it's forever a Spiky-Eared Pichu, and it cannot be transferred to any other game. It is only exclusive to HeartGold Soul Silver, and I guess Smash Brothers Ultimate, since it's, one of Pichu's skins, by far one of the best skins in Smash Brothers. So sorry, Spiky-Eared Pichu. I guess you'll never get a chance to see the rest of the world. Now, one thing I should mention about these event Pokemon before I cut away to the next event Pokemon are that all these event Pokemon, you need it to be quote-unquote a faithful encounter. You cannot catch a shiny Pichu out in the wild and not be faithful encounter and do this event. No, you need specifically a faithful encounter. You can't just hack a Celebi into the game and not have... Yeah, you get the point. That's why most event Pokemon have a faithful counter. Anyways, on to the next event Pokemon that is exclusive to this game. Okay, so now the next event is right here. So the next Pokemon you'll need is Arceus. basically God himself. So let's go over Arceus anyway, even though it's event Pokemon. I don't like to go over event Pokemon bios, but it's kind of like what I have to do. So Arceus anyway. With a base stat total of 720, ability to change any type, access to almost every TM, and has even a signature move called Judgment, a spatial normal move with 100 power, 100 power, 100 accuracy at level 100. It's basically God itself. Speaking of which, since this Arceus event was never released for Platinum, a gift Arceus was a method to obtaining one, which is a level 100, but it can't be EV trained, so it's a slight nerf in that department of being able to customize your Arceus. But when your stats are so strong that it's making me take back what I said about Mewtwo and Rayquaza being the strongest Pokemon in the game, which I'm not just saying, who cares about the nerf? By the way, that Arceus also comes with Roar Time, Spatial Rend, and Shadow Force, signature moves of certain Pokemon that will be coming up soon. Only other thing to say about Multitype and where do you get plates again? The cabinet of the SS Aqua gives you one each time you visit the SS Aqua, after you get all 60 gym badges, and it's random of what you get. So be sure to save in front of him so you can get a plate, the one you need. Now you have your Arceus. If you take it to this place right here, this house, the guy in this house will come out and see your Arceus, and then you'll be going in the ruins of Alph, and things get a bit awkward. By which you'll be taken to the Shinjo ruins if you go in there. If you go in the ruins of Alph, an area covered with snow. You'll meet Cynthia in the building, and she tells you that Arceus has the ability to create newborn Pokemon. So she'll take you back to the ruins and make you choose one of 3 Pokemon to be reborn. The left gray pattern represents Dialga. Simply put, it's great Steel Dragon Pokemon. It's a great Pokemon. Steel Dragon may not be great offensively, but its move pool and stats definitely make up for it. Earth Power, Aura Sphere, Power Gem, and Roar of Time, which is a Dragon type Hyper Beam, and moves it can learn. It also comes with the Adamant Orb, which increases the power of Steel and Dragon moves by 20% to Dialga. That's already powerful enough. The right magenta pattern represents Palkia, one of the best special attackers, period. Only one weakness, same moves as Dialga but with water instead of steel type moves, and Spatial Rend, which is a special dragon move with 100 power, 95 accuracy, and a high crit rate. It comes with a Lustrous Orb, which is the same effect as Adamant Orb but boosts water instead of steel only for Palkia. Honestly, you cannot find anything bad about that Palkia. It's that darn good. The top purple pattern represents Giratina. Same moves as the other two, but with Ghost Move instead of the Water Steel, and has Levitate. Also note that its signature move is Shadow Force, which is basically the signature move that we talked about Arceus, except it's a 2-turn Ghost move. I forget what else about it, but it's a signature move. Now, unlike the other two, it comes with the Greasius Orb, and this Greasius Orb changes forms. The Greasius Orb, which comes with the moment you get it, gives it the origin form, which basically has Levitate because of that. If you take it off, you'll get the Alter form. The attack, defense, and special stats swap, and Giratina now has pressure like the other two. All 3 of them are really good Pokemon, but it's such a shame that you can only pick one of them, and unless you could transfer for Diamond or Platinums, the only way to get them through an event. Very funny. Still better than the way Reggies were treated in Platinum. Huh? All 3 of them are really good, like I said. Now, once you step on the one you choose, on the tile you choose, Arceus will begin using its full power to make it reborn. So Cynthia says that Arceus is capable of making life appear out of nothing. And she means that literally. Dramatic music plays, Google-like images appear as Arceus just stands there at the center, and finally an egg shows up, hatching the Pokemon you chose. It's pretty odd for a cutscene, but that's really why I like it. Your Pokemon is now reborn, and you get sent back to the ruins of Alph. Since the Pokemon was from an egg, it is only level 1, and all of the 3 Pokemon learn Dragon Breath and Scary Face at level 1. At least you can EV train them early. Really, it's such a cool event, and even though you need God itself, and it's not easy to access for everybody, you'll at least watch this cutscene. It's really cool. Now let's move on to the next event, which not gonna top this or Celebi. Okay, and here we are in the Pewter Museum. What are we doing here? This is the next event that, you can do if, well, you had it. But the next event, which won't feature any new Pokemon this time, and is only Wi-Fi exclusive this time, similar to the Eon ticket from Generation 3, the item you need for this one is the Enigma Stone. With it, you want to head to the Pewter City Gym Museum, which we are at, and then you'll find Steven. There's a researcher, the guy you just saw before we cut it away. That's the researcher who will figure out that the Enigma Stone is actually a Soul Dew, which powers up Latios and Latios, whatever. Afterwards, outside you will find the other Eon Pokemon that doesn't roam around in your version. So HeartGold users will get Latios, like us, and Soul Silver users will get Latios. Both are level 40, by the way. I've already gone over both, so I don't need to do it again. But that's the only special thing you get, and they don't roam around. They stay there and you can battle them. Outside the museum, that is. It's a really quick event, not as special because it's a Wi-Fi, but it's HeartGold exclusive only, and it's an event that I can at least talk about. It's not that hard. I'm only talking about a few of them, by the way. I'm not going over every single thing. And I'll explain why later. But maybe I'll talk about at least two other things, but I will not give them bios such. Anyways, on to the last one, and the last one is a really big one. Well, okay, it's not really big, but like, it introduces something else exclusive to this game, at least. So the next event, I'm on my menu for this reason. The next event has to do with Pokéwalker. So, before we talk about Pokéwalker, this is how you can access it. Anyways, let's talk about the one thing that a lot of people know about HeartGold Soul Silver in particular. All this time we've been walking with our Pokemon throughout the Let's Play. This basically ties in with a feature that was added to this game in particular, and that is the Pokéwalker. So let me let's get started about it. So if you bought a certain bundle when the game initially released, the HeartGold Silver bundle, the bundle that HeartGold Silver would come with was the Pokéwalker. Before we talk about the Pokéwalker, yes, I know that Nintendo has done something like this before, and that's with the Pokemon Pikachu. But I'm not here to talk about it because what it brings to offer will get covered by the Pokéwalker. Just know that there was a really cool thing back then. Now to the Pokéwalker. This device is more than just tracking how many steps you've taken. First, any Pokemon you've caught in HeartGold Soul Silver can be transferred to the Pokéwalker. And as you walk, the Pokemon will walk with you in the Pokéwalker. Every time you take 20 steps, you will receive 1 Watt. Watts are the currency for Pokéwalker. Your Pokemon can sometimes find Watts for you while walking. With Watts, you can play some games like Dancing Machine and Pokéradar. Dancing Machine costs 3 Watts to play, and it's an item hunting game. Find the item that is located in one of the 6 grass piles within 2 tries. If you fail the first try, you will get a small hint as to where the item is. Pokéradar costs 10 Watts, and it's a Pokemon hunting game. You must first find a Pokemon from piles of grass with exclamation marks hinting what group Pokemon it's from. There's a lot to talk about that, but I really don't want to go over it. Once you do, it's a battle. In the Pokéradar, battling is a bit different. Each Pokemon has 4 HP, and there's 3 options to do: attack, evade, or catch. Attack allows you to do 1 damage, or 2 if you land a critical hit. Evade allows you to dodge your opponent's moves and counterattack, and catch it as well. And is catching the Pokemon. But if you don't catch the Pokemon, it will run away. If you KO the wild Pokemon or you get KO'd, the battle's over, and you've just wasted 10 Watts. As the Pokéwalker tracks your steps, the steps influence what Pokemon can appear. You can have up to about 3 Pokemon and 3 items in your Pokéwalker each time you use it and transfer Pokemon. Another thing to talk about are areas. You get 2 areas by default, but in order to get more, you'll have to reach a certain amount of Watts to unlock them, and that's collectively in your HeartGold Soul Silver cartridge. Thankfully, you don't spend any Watts when unlocking them. You just have to reach them out in your HeartGold Soul Silver game. These areas only change what Pokemon can appear in your Pokéwalker. And there are quite a few exclusive to the Pokéwalker that some Pokemon are there that you can actually obtain, or exclusives in there. What I mean by is, you can catch a few Pokemon that you normally don't get early on, like Murkrow. and such. And then there are Pokemon that you can't even catch in the wild, but you can still get, like baby Pokemon like Elekid and Magby. And then there are some Pokemon that you can even get before the Elite Four, like Electabuzz, I think. There are, however, a few of the areas you can unlock by events. Some require downloads, but one in particular requires a certain Pokemon, and that is Jirachi. I already mentioned this Pokemon earlier in the episode, but let's go over Jirachi itself. 100 in every stat, good defensive type, and Serene Grace is an excellent ability, but needs a move tutor to get Iron Head. Doom Desire is a signature move, special steel type move with 120 power and area for 85 accuracy, and only 2 turns after it is used. Honestly, just stick to Serene Grace, then Headbutt and Iron Head. Otherwise, it's good. Just good luck getting the Pokemon because you know it's an event. Now, what happens if you transfer Jirachi to the Pokéwalker? So let's say you connect with it and then you get Jirachi in here from the event. You unlock an area called Night Sky's Edge. While the Pokemon you can find aren't too special in my opinion, they do tie in with the cave and night time aspect of the event. Now, what's really special about the event are the rare items you can find. There's Stardust, Pearls, Shards, Star Piece, Rare Bone, Moonstone, and TM29 Psychic. While the event is basically out of everyone's league now, it's at least something you could get if you brought your Jirachi to the Pokéwalker. These items are also non-finite in the games, so obtaining them this method is a bit tedious since almost as all items are really rare. Now, once you're tired, you may transfer your Pokemon to your HeartGold Soul Silver game. When transferring the Pokemon back, you get to see a fun little story of you and your Pokemon while you were using your Pokéwalker. Your Pokemon can get a maximum of 1 level up when returning. So, and if your Pokemon were to evolve or learn a move with that level up, it would skip both things. So don't bring a Pokemon that you know is going to learn a move you want next or evolve next level up. The current watts you have in your Pokéwalker also transfer over to HeartGold Soul Silver to unlock the routes. So don't transfer your Pokemon if you need to keep your watts a bit longer to play games. Also at midnight, the steps in your Pokéwalker reset. Now, with all of this said, I gotta say that this is a great accessory. It's a harmless feature brought to these games, especially since these games have the walking with your Pokemon aspect. Most used Pokéwalkers online cost between about $20 to $50. And these Pokéwalkers run on battery. You'll need to buy Pokéwalker batteries to swap each time one runs out. The batteries aren't too expensive, but they are a bit difficult to find nowadays since we're in like 2020. Overall, the Pokéwalker lived up to what Pokemon Pikachu did before. And it was a really cool thing back then if you pre-ordered it too. Like, you can get a lot of early Pokemon just by walking around. What's so bad about that? And that pretty much does it for events. I mean, there's 3 other things I could have gone over, but I decided not to give them bios for. And those are the Pokemon that change forms if you have their events. Those being Shaman. If you had a Shaman, you could get the Gracilia Flora, the flower from Goldenrod City, and then you could transform to Shaman. You could also get Deoxys to change forms in the route east of this city. You could also get Rotom's appliances if you brought it to Saffron City, to that building, so you can change forms. Those are all events, but they're not like something that like does something different. It just changed forms of a certain Pokemon. Jirachi at least gave you an event, or at least like a little area. Now, I think that'll do it for this episode. I have a lot of editing to do because I made a few mistakes, errors I need to fix in this video. But otherwise, that's it for today's episode, I guess. No progress at all because this was just more of a commentary video. But I think this will be the second to last video of this Let's Play because the next episode might just be the actual finale. Because I only have a few things to go over and that'll be it for the Let's Play. So, with that being said, I'm sorry I didn't upload in a while because the fact that I was kind of busy preparing for an exam I had today. Because right now I'm recording this on Thursday. That being said, this is Lily Cole 15. See you guys next time for another episode of Pokemon. Or not other, but a finale of Pokemon HeartGold, I guess. Where I'm going to do 2 things. Look over the routes for a little bonus for a star card. And some in-game trade that never went over. later.